Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of TEF Rewind. Our guest today, six-time individual CrossFit Games competitor, Josh Bridges. Josh, how you doing?
I'm really good, Sean. How you doing?
Wonderful, thank you. We wanted to get you on because you've had a lot of iconic moments throughout your CrossFit Games career, and I think one that definitely stands out is Murph in 2016. So we wanted to relive that with you. But that was a season for you where you had missed the prior year qualifying. Yep. So let's go back to 2016, heading into the games or just heading into the season. What was going through your head, trying to rebound from what happened in 2015?
There wasn't a lot going on in the brain. There was a lot of, hey, if you ever want to have that feeling, that moment again, where I'm thankful that Savon captured that moment where I'm looking up at the scoreboard, seeing that I didn't qualify at 2015's regional. And just thinking, hey, do you ever want to have that feeling again? And if you don't, or if you do, then yeah, take the day off, take some rest. You earned it. And if not, then get your ass in the gym and go get after it. And that's 2016. I look back at my training log and I have zero idea how I did it. It was wild. I think I was telling someone this the other day where I remember there'd be like a day and I'd be like, man, why do I feel so crappy today? I feel like my numbers aren't right. My times aren't right. Like I should be hitting this faster. I should be hitting heavier weights. And I'd look down on my training log and it'd be like 27 days I hadn't taken a rest day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, no kidding. Like it was like,
well, there's your problem right there.
right.
Well, and you're like the comeback, I guess at 2016 too, also kind of had an interesting first test for you to try and kind of get back and get right was that heavy snatch ladder. And I remember it had those 2 reps at 265 at the end. And I think kind of the initial discussion was, all right, well, is it going to be required to finish this ladder in order to qualify? And if so, then that immediately presented, a pretty stiff test for you, and you responded and kind of set the tone for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, it was a really cool test that Dave put out. I love those forms of when that was like the heavy workout of the weekend, right? Where it's like, you got to get your heart rate up first and then you get to show how strong you are. And I love those types of tests. And, Dave is a magician when it comes to creating cool workouts. And yeah, going into that workout, I remember just being like, damn, 265, I've never hit that before. Like that's a heavy weight. I think I'd hit at the time, like maybe 255, maybe 260. I don't remember, somewhere around there, but I never hit 65. And to be honest, I never actually attempted 265 until I was on the floor because I knew that the crowd would push me over the edge if I had it, right? If it was in me, it was going to happen there. And so I didn't want to like get discouraged in training and like be like, oh, I can't hit it. I'm not good enough. I won't. So I would do the workout up to 245 and I had, I don't know, a lot of people probably don't remember this, but I was literally one of the first people to the 265 bar. I think Rasmus and maybe Marcus Philly might have been the only 2 people who beat me to the 265 bar. But I mean, 245 felt like 205 at the time, and so I remember getting to 265 and I was like, all right, here we go. And I remember telling myself, if you hit it once, don't celebrate. Like, don't be like, because it's not over. You still have to hit it again. And sometimes every CrossFitter who's ever snatched in the gym, you hit that PR and you're just like so elated that it's over. Like your training session at that moment is over. And so, I was stoked and it made a really cool memory. And, there's cool video footage of it. So it was a really cool event.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get started here in a second. I have to open a snack pack here.
Hey, man, got to be a dad first, always.
There you go. All right, thanks, bud. Okay, all right. Well, let's get this thing started. Let's go to 2016 Murph, and we are going
Let's
to.
see, what's the time code for anyone listening?
Well, I'm using a different version here, so we're going to start it right at. Like right when there's a close up here of Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson, the guy and Noah Olson who won it last year.
And Zeke Grove.
Who's that guy in the back?
That's Zach Carcetti.
Yeah, oh man. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was last year probably.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Let it rip.
Yes, this was fun, man. This was Friday morning. We had a few events. I think we had an event Wednesday and Thursday, I think, that year.
Yeah. So the only thing I remember about this is I think you know, I didn't have to do this, but I had to call it on like an hour and a half of sleep because we had to come back. This is the year that they sent you guys back to.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And so, all right. All right, we got to.
Here we go. Get the ads. Get
the
in
ad.
There. Solar panels.
Get the ad. Skip that. All right.
Now someone's not getting paid. Damn it.
That's the beautiful thing about live TV here. But no, we were going to fly back Thursday evening.
Yeah.
Because we had to do a bunch of post-production stuff on everything that happened at the ranch, and all of our planes got canceled. So we had to rent a car from San Jose and drive down. We got in at like 3 a.m, and this was brutal. So anyway, I don't know what you went through in this event, Josh, but couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. You know, it was nothing like you guys had to go through, so we were good. But yeah, no, it was fun, man. I mean, I just remember stepping out there and being like, hey, like, top 3. Like, there was no question in my mind. I don't think I've ever walked out into a workout and being like, you have to win this workout. I don't think it's a good mindset to go into a workout because a top 3 is going to, you know, unless it's like the last workouts, right? And it's a neck and neck and it's like you're down by a point or something. But like top 3 or this early in the weekend, like that's where my mind went. And obviously I wanted to win it, but in my head, it's just top 3.
And there was that initial funnel point, right? Like, was there a race to kind of get to the steps first? Because it was, some athletes were just cool with hanging back.
Yeah, man. Obviously, you're not going to win the workout in the first mile. I mean, that's a given. I think most competitors, most CrossFitters know that kind of stuff by now. You know, so it wasn't as a necessity. I just didn't want to be fighting to get up the stairs or being like, man, I could be going faster, but I have to wait on these people in front of me. So I did. I hustled to the stairwell. And there was a few other people there too that were, you know, hustling. And yeah, and then it was just like, okay, now just run your race, right? At this point, just run your race now. There's no reason to go out hot. If someone wants to take off and take the first mile, by all means, go get it, brother. Like it is this Murph. I did Murph in China on the Great Wall. And this dude, this was in, I think, 2019 or I can't remember when it was. No, 2018. I was with 5'11", and this dude was like, oh, he didn't know. Hey, I don't think he was a big CrossFitter, but he's like he knew the workout, and we did the Great Wall, and then we had a pull-up bar on the field somewhere, and this dude took off. I mean, he crushed me. He probably beat me on the first mile by over 2 minutes, and I passed him on the pull-ups. It was like. Good job, buddy. You crushed the first mile.
Congratulations.
So,
is there a range? Is there a range you want to hit for the first mile typically?
No, but I mean, for me, I'm looking at around like at this time in my career, you know, I didn't want to go slower than 7 minutes in my head. So for me, it was like anywhere between like 6:30, 6:50. I don't remember my exact time on this first mile, but I'm guessing it was probably around there. We probably came in down the stairwell at about 6:30 or something like that. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah.
We haven't turned around yet, though, and it's 3 minutes, so maybe not.
Forte and Mayer out there.
I think it was Cody Anderson who won this first mile, I believe.
There was I think it was a tweet. I can't remember. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but in 2015 they ran Murph, obviously a little bit different version. And I remember immediately afterwards when BKG won it, I think you were chirping some people, some of the Americans, being like, come on, guys, you let a non-American win Murph. Like you basically like, if I'm coming back, I'm at least going to give it my all to like kind of.
For sure, man. You can't let a non-American win a workout named after a Navy SEAL. Like that just doesn't make sense. But I'm not going to take anything away from PKG. BKG is a stud. Obviously, he's still out there, still crushing it. It was fun to watch him this year. I wish he would have been able to go after those Oli lifts and, you know, maybe make a run at the podium. But that dude is an animal, so I can't take anything away from him. I just wish I would have been able to be there and, you know, maybe not have him take second place.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think when this one was announced for the second time and we knew you were coming back, it was like, okay, well, if there's one person that has to win one event, it's Josh Bridges. It's got to win this. Like that's.
Yeah, and it wasn't a workout that I did that often, to be honest. A lot of people thought like it was probably something I did a lot. I think I remember it just hurts so bad. Like I remember how air squats, that's like the thing that people don't realize how bad air squats will mess you up. And doing 300 air squats with a weight vest, and running a couple miles, my quads would just get so destroyed for like 2-3 days. So for these workouts, this was more of a workout where, hey, I'm going to do this when they tell me to do it, and if they do, I'll probably be all right. Obviously, like push-ups, pull-ups, air squats are in my wheelhouse. And running was always something I enjoyed doing. And I was typically if there was a running workout, I typically did well at it. So it wasn't something I had to focus too much on in the off seasons.
We could see, I think that's Rob Forte in front for a little bit. Did you have a set running style with the vest? I know some people like it like loose and you kind of tuck the hands underneath.
Yeah, I like it a little bit tighter. I don't want it too tight, obviously, where it's cutting off my breathing, but I don't want it loose bouncing around. And you want the weight up high on you. You don't want it too low, and you don't want it, this 511 vest wasn't the best vest. Obviously, they're a sponsor, so it was their vest that we got to use. But they're not the best quality vest. They're, there's definitely some better stuff out there that will stay more snug and sit higher on you, which is what you want if you're actually trying to train with one of these things.
Now, obviously you're a competitor. We asked Jason Kalipa about this when we did the burden run with him, but you have a time in mind, you have a strategy in mind. How do you keep yourself from getting sucked into someone else's race at this point?
Yeah, you just have to have the blinders on. If you don't, man, like you can really get out and let someone like Cody Anderson here, right? Like I think that was kind of probably his game plan, right? I'm going to go out and win this and try to get some people to come up to my pace and then hopefully die off. For that, I think you have to just be intelligent, right? You have to know yourself as an athlete and as a competitor, and just know that, hey, there's going to be guys going out hot, and we all make that mistake. I've made that mistake in so many workouts of the games, right? Where, oh shit, the front crew's up there, I got to go. But there's also workouts where you can't get behind, right? Like a bike workout where you can't not be in the front pack. And so, but this just isn't one of those workouts. And I think having the experience, having been doing CrossFit at this point, 11 years of my life, it was like, I just knew myself, and I knew that the run wasn't where we're winning this workout. It was really comes down to the push-ups and the air squats, to be honest. So,
are you feeling pretty good coming down these steps at this point? Are you feeling like I hit my pace?
Yeah, I think I hit my pace perfectly. Didn't push myself too hard, didn't come in exhausted, and didn't go out too slow, right? I was coming in top 3, top 4, I think, right there. But you see,
here's the veteran move, though. You went right to the shade. Yeah,
exactly. Like it just made sense, right? Like, why am I going to go to the sun where I know that sun is going toward the shade, and so he's going to be in the sun the entire time we're out there. Where I'm going to work out in the shade, man. It's like working out in your garage. The moment you step out of your garage and you're in the sun, the workout becomes a little bit harder.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It becomes harder. It just is. You're going to sweat more. You're going to feel fatigued. You're going to be squinting. So that was, again, Cody Anderson I think this was his rookie season.
It's Jacob.
I'm sorry, Jacob Anderson. Yeah.
Jacob Anderson. Yep.
And so, I don't know why I kept saying Cody. Sorry. Jacob Anderson.
There's like 10 of them.
There's all the Anderson brothers, right? One of the 3.
Yep.
So Jacob Anderson, just being a rookie that year, I think, I believe it was his rookie season. I don't remember. Just not having that wherewithal to be like, why wouldn't I go to the shade over here? Especially when they told us, hey, you get to pick your lane. So, yeah. That was, I think me and Matt both did it. I think Matt didn't go as far as I did. I think I actually took the extra time and got quite a bit farther over to the right side to get more shade. And at that point, I just knew 20 pull-ups, I'm not coming off the bar. 30 push-ups, just keep them in small sets, small breaks, and air squats, just pump them out, right? Like there's no reason to stop in an air squat as long as you can, start cramping up or anything like that. So, I was looking over at Matt a couple of times a little bit, trying to gain a little more ground on him each round. But in my head, I knew I just needed like 30 seconds, 45 seconds to the last run, and I'd be fine. It's just hard to make up 40 seconds on a run, right? On a mile run. So
had you done this variation before? Because I mean, people do. We do Murph on Memorial Day. Some people do on partition. Some people do rounds of Cindy or double rounds. But the 5 round was something I think a lot of people just hadn't thought of. Until it came up, and I was curious if you had maybe played around with this rep scheme.
I never had. I'd always done. Every time I'd done Murph, it'd always been straight through. But I'd done enough Cindy's, right, to know what this felt like, and I knew that 60 air squats wasn't going to be like a factor. To be honest, it basically, all I knew is I had to actually keep my pace higher, right? I couldn't.
Oh man, another ad.
Come on, Kathy. I just knew that my pace had to be a little bit faster than what it would be if I was going straight through the movements, right? Doing it as more of a chipper. So taking my time in between, not rushing, not not thinking I had to. I knew I didn't have to run. I just had to go over and get my 20 pull-ups in and not break. So
I don't know if you saw, but we had like a lower third on you that said you were the oldest and shortest competitor in the field.
You know what's funny is
like,
I did.
Man, we had to double call you out there.
I think I've had a lot of people say that, and I remember hearing that over the intercom, and that was the first time I knew that fact that I was the oldest competitor there. I was like, I still felt like young and spry and like good to go. Like 16, I felt the best going into the games. So yeah, it was awesome, man. I was stoked for this, and but yeah, I did hear you say it, Sean, the youngest or the shortest and the oldest, and I think probably one of the only dads. I think me and Travis Mayer are probably one of the only dads there. Yeah, I was always a dad. I never competed without not being a dad. So
that's crazy. Yeah. How okay, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, 2011, I had a 1-year-old.
Wow. So women get asked this all the time. I don't think men get asked it enough, but how do you balance being a dad, and competing for that long, being a father? Because most guys get into this and they're, single, not a care in the world, but you got into it and you have familial obligations.
Yeah, it was tough, and it was how I always try to deal with it is I was always trying to be present wherever I was at. So if I was training in the gym, I was giving my workouts, my programming, everything 100% attention. And when I was with my boys, I was giving them 100% attention. I wasn't thinking about what I should be doing in the gym. Yeah. And I think that's the only way to balance it, right? And because if I'm in the gym thinking about what I could be doing with my boys, my workouts are suffering. If I'm with my boys and I'm thinking about what I could be doing in the gym, my kids are suffering. So for me, it was just stay focused and then go show them the attention that they deserve and show your workouts the attention they deserve.
Did you use grips on the pull-ups? I thought the last set I saw you weren't using them.
No, I never used them. I just had them on my hands just in case I tore. Was the only reason I had them on.
Wow.
That's
old school stuff right there.
I actually never wear grips unless I'm doing big sets of bar muscle ups. And even then I don't like to wear them. My hands typically never tore. They were just pretty calloused over, and at least not later in my career. Sorry, early in CrossFit, like when I was younger, like 05 to those early days, I would tear all the time. But then I think my hands got used to it. I started to be smarter with it, where I'd grip. So
you never see that anymore.
No.
Yeah, I feel like I was gonna say, it feels like almost like an old school mentality to it, because now every athlete on every heat, anytime there's pulling, you immediately have grips and sometimes double grips. In case one rips.
Grips dragging on the floor.
Knee wraps on their hands, right? I know it's crazy. Like anytime someone touches a bar or a pull-up bar of any sort, grips are on. I'm like, man, it's wild. I don't know. I just I never did. I never liked them. I didn't feel like I had as good a grip with them on. And then there was a couple times where I have worn them and like my hands were really sweaty. And I didn't realize the whole, like, if they're wet, how much better they grip, or at least certain ones do. So yeah, I just didn't use them. I don't know. It was just, it was definitely an old school mentality, right? Like, oh, you don't need grips. Be a man. Hold on to the bar with your hands. Yeah. Drink my coffee black. That's right. Come on. So
you put the only things that you make those ones out of tape. Remember how bad those were?
Oh my gosh. Yes. In 2011, I think I did have to put those on in 2011 because I might have torn at the regional or something weird. Or someone put them on and I ripped them off like midway through. That's funny.
Oh, man.
It's good times right there.
Well, speaking of 2011, there was a similar, I don't want to say it was the exact same, but your career at the games started with a similar test, the beach test, that had a run on the water. I think there was obviously a short swim. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then it was like 50, 100, 200, and you opened up and you smoked that one. I remember just everyone being pumped about it, and it just kind of set the tone for your career as well.
It really did. Yeah. It was really cool to, your first event, winning your first event. It did. I remember when Dave announced it at the dinner, and I was just like, "Oh, are you?" Because I'm still in the Navy at the time, So I'm like, "Is this for real? Like, we just going back to buds and just having a good old fashioned Monday morning, little PT workout. Okay, let's go. Yeah, that was really cool. And I remember like, I remember watching that back and people just like dying coming across the line.
Oh man.
And I'm like, I felt great. It was like just another day, that workout. That was really cool. I remember like Dan Bailey coming across, like people just collapsing across the line. I was like, oh, damn, let's go.
Well, speaking of your career in the Navy, obviously, Murph is in honor of Michael Murphy, and we tend to obviously impart a lot of emotion because of the reason behind it becoming a test or a hero workout in the first place. Is that in your mind's eye during this test at all? Is it something you're thinking about before, or are you leveraging that to try and impart some extra emotion for the test, or is it just another CrossFit Games workout, at least in this setting?
In this setting right here, obviously you always think about it, right? Anytime I do a hero workout, it's something you have in the back of your mind, right? Like these things are named after someone. You got to show them the respect. You got to put out and not think about how bad you're hurting in the moment, and just realize like, this is paying homage to someone else's, a tribute to someone else's life and what they were willing to sacrifice so that we could be out here. And then obviously it being a Navy SEAL, with me being a SEAL, it's always extra special when it's a SEAL named after a SEAL. Right. And so I wouldn't say I was thinking about it mid workout. I tend to not think about much when I'm in workouts. But then, like thinking about it a little bit before and thinking about it obviously a lot afterwards. And, then it really sinks in, and it really starts to, you start to feel how cool it was, the experience, like how it was for not just me, but for a lot of people. I mean, so many people tell me about this workout and how it inspired them to start doing CrossFit. And I'm like, it's always cool to hear that. And, and then, head down grinding for another brother who paid the ultimate sacrifice, right? So that we can come out here and do this shit.
Yeah. I didn't even know like you could partition it until like 5 years after I started CrossFit.
Right?
Yeah, I always just did it straight through. I just like, you can mix it up.
I think other people said it to me too, and I was like, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't sound like the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, because it used to be called body armor back in the day.
Yeah.
There was an interesting quote from 2015 because obviously that year Murph kind of wrecked everyone. It was out in the sun and the time of day, and I think it was Justin Berg who said that one of the reasons why he thought maybe some people kind of overcooked themselves is that it's not a test that you can do pretty often. So you have an optimized strategy for that. Is that something that would you agree with that? Does that kind of resonate with you? Because it kind of caught me when I heard it for the first time.
He said, tell me his quote again.
He basically said that Murph caught people off guard at the games because it's not something you can necessarily optimize your strategy through repetition, right? There's some tests you can do frequently at intensity or at or near game day intensity. So you can kind of figure out where your thresholds are. And I think some people got caught in this race in Murph, this type of test at the games for the first time, and they just didn't know how to regulate.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because isn't there a guy who did Murph every day of the year?
Yeah, true.
True. I don't know. I don't think that that's a true statement in the sense that you can't do this workout that often. I think you can do it as much as you want, right? I mean, what's the difference between doing push-ups, pull-ups, and air squats every day and running every day or rowing every day? I mean, it's just a different type of working out. I mean, I don't know. I think that you can, but I think the reason why was in 2015 is I don't know if people do it that often anymore. Everyone was at this time, I felt like, is when big weights were really becoming a thing, right? Everyone had to lift. Everyone thought you just got to be really, really strong to go to the CrossFit Games. And it wasn't the case, and Dave proved it that 2015 year with the amount of volume. 2015 year's games volume was probably one of the highest there was at a games. And I just don't think the athletes were ready because they solely focused, or there was too much emphasis on strength at the time, or at least that's what the athletes thought that they had to be really good at.
Yeah, I always felt that the dumbest thing athletes could do is put all their training on social media and what they were doing. Like, because Dave would look at that and be like, I'm going to go the exact opposite direction of what you're doing right now.
Right, exactly. Or he's going to bring something up that people just kind of forgot about. It's like, oh, this is something that doesn't seem to be out there as much anymore. And we did this I don't know what 2011, but we hadn't done it since. And so it was like, yeah, let's just throw it. Like, I mean, that's Dave's like genius, right? He always just brings shit back that you're like, oh, I thought that was gone. I thought that we'd moved past that, right? We're on to other bigger and better things. And then he brings these little things back, these basic basic calisthenic movements. And now you have to be really good at those too. And so yeah, it's just definitely it's always interesting, right? And that you can't train for the games the following season based off the year before, and if you do, you're going to get bit in the ass for it.
No doubt.
Who is doing your programming this year?
This year, me. I did it.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. I did my programming from 2014 on. So earlier, and before that, I was working with, CJ, but I was doing it was more of like him and I both collaborating on it. It wasn't just solely him doing it. And so, after that, it was just me doing my programming. I mean, obviously I was getting some running, I think, from Henshaw, and I was getting some swimming from a swimming coach. Her name was Heidi. She was actually my body worker too, but she swam for the Naval Academy. And then I was getting, I think that was it. And then I was probably doing like Mike Bergner's Oli programming. So,
wow.
Yeah.
But like CrossFit, I've been doing CrossFit since January 2005. At this time, like if I can't program CrossFit for myself, like, come on, man, are you paying attention at all?
Yeah.
And so at this point in the race, it's kind of you and Matt out in front. How much? I guess these longer tests are a little bit different because there's kind of more time to think and scan and survey, and it's not like foot on the gas pedal the entire way. How much are you paying attention to where you're at relative to him, and are you making any adjustments on the fly?
I was paying attention a little bit, but I wouldn't pay attention until the air squats. And the air squats was the only time I'd look over at him just to kind of see. And I was trying to hear his numbers, like how far I was getting ahead of him before when I was finishing, kind of thing. I was just kind of, and like I said earlier, all I really wanted was about 30, 45 seconds ahead of him. And I just needed, and I was really focused on my own pace. I was moving at the fastest pace I wanted to move at. And I just wanted to make sure I didn't need to go any faster. And that was the only reason I was really looking over to get that like 30 seconds, 45 seconds I really wanted to get before we took off for that second mile.
We talked with Pat Vellner about this with the intervals test that he won at the games, about kind of like finding a flow state a little bit where you're at the pace you want to be at. It's not punishing you the way that you're maybe worried about. Is there a point in this test? Was it during the air squats maybe, or the push-ups, pull-ups felt better? We were like, okay, I think I'm in the spot that I need to be.
I mean, I just felt the whole time. I was like, I felt good, right? I never was like, oh, I'm going out. I'm taking too big a sets. Like the push-ups is the one, right, where you can get caught up in it a little bit and really hit a fatigue and basically maybe go down to ones and twos, which isn't good. And I think I kept my numbers at like 4 to 5, which is typically where I like to keep them in this workout when I'm doing Murph. And so, and then the air squats, it was just like, just keep moving. Like, don't stop. Don't take breaks in air squats, right? You have 60 air squats. You can keep moving. It doesn't have to be a fast pace. It just can't be taking big breaks. And I think that's where I'll see people stop during air squats. And like, you don't really need to stop. You can just slow down a little bit, right? Just a touch, and you're still moving. You're still hitting your numbers, right? You're still gaining ground instead of just standing there where you don't really need to be standing there. It's like doing a burpee. You fall down and get up. Just keep doing it. Just keep moving.
Yeah. I think it's a rite of passage for everyone to like maybe bite off more than you can chew on the push-ups and Murph, and then just get reduced to singles and doubles.
Right. It is, man. The push-ups are definitely the crux in this workout, and who can maintain that bigger sets and shorter breaks is typically going to be the winner.
So Ben Smith.
I know, man. This
you see Heber looking around back there?
Yeah.
Was he in his like pre-bulk phase then?
Oh yeah.
I mean, is that when he was going through it?
Heber looks. I'll give him some guff, and he looks big on social media, but he's still like.
He's in great shape. He looks fantastic.
He's in fantastic
shape.
He
looks like Scott Panchak too, man.
There you go.
No, he looks like he's in great shape, and Heber's a freaking great dude, and
he's the best.
Him and Mars, dude, are freaking. They're studs. Carrying all that camera equipment ain't easy.
Yeah, but they are.
Oh yeah.
So,
we know round we're in right now.
This might be the final round because
I think it's the final round
because we're 30. what was 32 was the time. So yeah, we're definitely probably coming up on the final round. Yeah, this is probably it. I'll probably take off right here.
So at this point, you got to be feeling pretty good about it.
I felt great. Yeah, like I knew I was where I needed to be. Matt wasn't gaining ground on me. Like I was picking up a little bit of time each round on him, and so that was good. And in my head, I'm like, if I take off on this run, no one's catching me, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt good. I had no idea the only person I knew was Matt, and that was it. And yeah, it was nice. It was just like, okay, I'm good. And I think I might have tightened up. I was getting hit on my push-ups a little bit. EC was my judge, and she was,
What was the standard? Was it the vest has to hit?
Or the vest and the chest had it couldn't be separation, right?
Right. Okay.
And she was just saying get lower, and I'm like, my chest is driving into the ground. I don't know how to get lower. I remember telling her that, but she was just trying to hold. She was just trying to hold the standard, and I love it. So I was trying to fix my vest here. It was a touch snug, I think, and I finally just said fuck it. I was like, I'm
it's 1 mile.
I'm like, I'll be good. I'll be all right. So, but yeah, I remember going up those stairs. That definitely, I felt the squats on those stairs a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
And then I came.
That was.
Go ahead.
That's sneaky.
Yeah, it was.
Sneaky
yes,
bad.
I liked it though. And then I remember looking back, and I remember hearing. I think right around here is where Matt might have come off, and he might have turned around. It was somewhere up in this direction. But I turned around. I was like, "Oh, he's not on the stairs yet. I'm good. Like, I'm good."
Oh, he's so fun.
Yeah, 2 more to go. There you go.
Yep. When you finished the air squats and turn, there was a big pop from the crowd. Do you hear that in those moments?
For sure.
Tap into that.
Yeah, 100%. Like, very few times can you not hear the crowd, especially if they make get after it for you for something There's only a couple times where I didn't realize they were cheering for me, but yeah, like, man, the crowd can get you going. And this, at this point, it was just like, okay, just get down to that turnaround, and then you'll know how far Matt's behind you, kind of thing. And so, and I didn't want to go too slow. I didn't want to just win. I wanted to run my race, to be honest. And so it wasn't like I wasn't going slower because I knew I had the lead. It was more like, just run at this pace because this is a good pace right here. And I don't think anybody's going to catch you at this pace, because to make up 45 seconds on a mile run it's pretty hard to do. It's a lot. It's pretty hard to do.
So speaking of the crowd, have you ever heard anything out there that just has made you almost lose it, like laugh or just break concentration or anything?
I'm trying to think. I mean, one of the maybe it wasn't the crowd, but there was a workout and it was me and Rich on the line, and we were on the field. It was in Carson. We were on the field, and he looked over and he's like, "Foot's over the line." And I just wasn't expecting it. I was kind of like, we were like literally getting ready.
I remember that.
We were like getting ready to go, and he looked over. He's like, "Foot's over the line." And I was like, I fucking started dying. I was like, dude. I was like, man, I wasn't in that mindset, bro. But I liked it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Well, kind of touching on that, you were known behind the scenes for a little not necessarily smack talk, but kind of busting some balls and like John at some of the new guys and just kind of holding court a little bit. Now, was there anything before this, or was there anything around this test that you were kind of maybe laying down the law on some of the young guys?
16 was actually kind of it was kind of a weird year, right? It was the last year in Carson. There wasn't much smack talk that I can remember before this one. 14, I remember a lot. That year, I remember giving Kalipa a lot of shit. I remember giving Janikowski a lot of shit that year. But this year, I don't think it was quite as much. Or maybe me and Noah, I might have chirped at Noah a little bit.
Oh man!
But yeah, it was. I don't remember before this event specifically anything like any John going out. Or no, wait. I think someone had their no shirt on her. And it might have been Ben, actually.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, there he is. And I was like, dude, you're gonna run in that fucking thing without a shirt? I'm like, get ready to get some lube on those nipples, pal. I'm like, that ain't gonna be fun. And like, look at Hepner too. I was like, dude, that is Bold strategy, Cotton.
That's a play.
Exactly.
I think I have a picture from we used to do those media interviews.
Yeah.
Where it was Josh was like sitting in a chair, and it looked like it looked like Jesus and the apostles. Like he's sitting in the chair, and there's like 4 or 5 guys just like sitting on the floor around him, like listening to him talk. It's pretty funny.
In 2014, when we got quarantined. And downstairs, that was a lot of fun. Remember telling stories down there. That was good times. Yeah. I always like to make it light, like for me, it's working out, man. I enjoy it. I have fun. And that was when I felt at my best. I felt like, when I was not taking things too serious, I was having a good time. I was back there joking and joking. It's typically when I was doing my best. And when I was thinking too much, overthinking workouts, making it too serious, is when I would start to, make things seem worse than they probably were. It was just another workout. I got to go out and get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
So
could you tell when you got someone, like you got under their skin, you're like, oh, I got him.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to own him on this next test.
Hell yeah. It was fun, man. I know. Like I remember Casper Bauer did not like to joke around. Like he was very serious. And Dan Bailey too. Like, very serious, very quiet. They'd go off in their own corner, and I'd pick up on it. I'd sniff that shit out,
Showing weakness.
Yeah, exactly. So
anybody who was the guy that was it Rich that would most go back at you?
Frazier did a little bit, this year, Frazier, wasn't holding back, which was fun to see. That was when him and I kind of got a lot closer. 15, he was real quiet, didn't really say much. 16, he started chirping back. Rich obviously would chirp back, but then, and Darren, Darren back there would always, not be too quiet. There was one time I do remember Rich being like, "Hey, I'm talking to my coach. Like, I gotta be serious right now." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Rich is getting serious." And I want to say it was 14. And but yeah, no, it was fun. Such a good time. And it was always like, all the guys on one side and all the girls on the other side. It was like kindergarten, right? You didn't.
Yeah. Was there a female athlete who used to chop it up with you guys at all? Who used to stick her nose in?
There would be. I mean, Camille never was too quiet.
Yeah.
I actually was just with her this past weekend. Her and Dave.
Oh yeah.
So that was really fun catching up. Trying to think. Oh, you know who fucking gave me shit? And this was in 17. It was after the swim workout, the swim run. It was Emily Abbott. And I was like,
oh yeah,
I was fucked.
Oh wow.
I think I swallowed some of the water and I got really sick that year. Right off the first, I didn't even think I was gonna be able to get on the bike for the second workout. I was fucked up. I think literally I went to the bathroom 10 times in between the first workout and the second workout. But so anyways, on the second end of that run, right? So we ran to the lake, swam, ran back. I remember I could barely walk. And I was just like, I'm so out. It was so weird. I just felt weird. I definitely swallowed some of that nasty water, and I had some sort of infection. And Emily runs past me, and she's like, "You gonna let a fucking girl beat you?" And I was like, and I was like, as I was in so much pain at the time, I was like, it is what it is right now.
Yes, I am.
And that was like the one time I remember someone, like a female, saying something like that. I loved it, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So,
well, man, you're about done here.
Yeah. Are you basically okay? So,
Heber.
Everyone loves a good Josh Bridges celebration, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it totally just? Are you starting to think about it now, or you're like, I'm getting ready to enjoy the moment? Are you kind of relishing this piece, or is it just still just head down and go?
Yeah, it was still head down and go. I don't ever orchestrate those celebrations. They're like just straight up like me showing my emotions. And and like I didn't even, in my head, I wasn't gonna celebrate. It was gonna be like I was gonna come across the line and just be happy and smile. And then like I just remember halfway down that field, all of a sudden I had like goosebumps, and like my fucking body just was like, this adrenaline dump was just gnarly. And I was like, fuck. And I just got so excited, and I was so pumped. And yeah. And I mean, video cameras make you look way cooler than you really are. And so, that video Rogue has is just like, it's such a cool, cool thing.
Oh.
There's actually what's crazy is like this dude painted this. I can't know if you can see it.
Oh
he
yeah.
painted that right there. And he sent me one. And that was a pretty cool, like, just a pretty cool moment to have.
Yeah. Well, here it comes, because this is.
I mean, it didn't make you look cool. You were really fucking cool at that point. Like that was
some stuff.
I think it was like one of those moments where like all was right in the world.
Yeah.
Like you winning Murph like that was
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was it definitely gives me goosebumps when I watch it. Like I'm just like, damn, that was cool. Like yeah, nothing, had no idea. It just hit me, and I just all of them were that way. And you're just like so fired up, you just want to do it again right at that moment. And I didn't even notice Dave for a second, and I was like, oh, there's Dave. Those stupid corn rolls.
Yeah, the guy. God, that was man. That was not a hairstyle. That was a hate crime. That was terrible.
I watched this last night just to kind of prep, and just even seeing the finish again, man, just gets the hair on the back of your neck up.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
It is. I mean,
here comes Fraser.
I can only imagine what was coursing through your veins at that point. It's like a mixture of pre-workout and jet fuel and gunpowder.
That was like there wasn't a brick wall that could have stopped me at that moment. Like
there you go, Matt.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really fun.
That's awesome. We'll let Matt go, and then
we'll
finish here, and then we'll.
Like and just having him, even still beating him by that much time too was like.
Yeah, that's not a lot of people can say that. Matt was so dominant over his career that like you.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't often beat him in tests.
Right, and there's so many damn ones he just barely got me too, and I'm like, God. But no, it's cool. It's always cool to win a workout at the games and know that hey, I'm the best in the world at this workout. And I've been fortunate enough to win my fair share.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's that one and another one we would love to have you on. We'd love to get Rich on for too. Is push pull.
That would be cool.
Man, that was when I think about you and I think about your career in the two moments that stand out, there they are.
Yeah, those were two really fun moments. Both of those. The push pull was again another workout I had zero expectations for. I just remember being like, handstand push-ups, yeah, that'll be good for me. But I had no idea about this pulling the sled thing, how this is gonna go, and so zero expectations. And then when it came to that last round, that was really cool. But obviously Murph was, it's one that. So many people have come up to me, and so many people that aren't even CrossFitters that'll say things like, man, that was so inspirational. That was like one of the coolest sports moments I've ever witnessed, not just CrossFit moments. Wow. And I'm just like, I get taken aback by it, every time. Yeah. It's really cool. It was a really cool special moment that I'll get to have with me forever. So,
well, and for people who have not been lucky enough to see you compete, you're going to do Legends at Rogue, right?
Yeah. We'll be there. I'll be there at Legends. That's always so fun to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we'll do it this year. We haven't decided how that, or Katie hasn't decided how that's going to go, but yeah, it's a team event. It's really, relaxed, but we have a lot of fun with it, and we go out, we put out. So it's a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, and I think because it maybe more so in recent years, I think Murph as a workout and a hero workout has really kind of taken on a life of its own and extending beyond the CrossFit realm. You're seeing like all these people, whether it's celebrities or people that don't even do CrossFit, like jumping in. So I think it's cool that, you have that moment where if someone just went and Googled Murph for maybe a video, like that's going to pop up. That video is going to pop up and they're going to see you, put down an epic performance like that.
Yeah, it is. It's really something special. It really is. It's and in the moment, you don't realize how cool it is until typically years later. But it was still really special at the time. But yeah, like you just, people would ask me what was my favorite workout for like a few years after that. And I'd be like, I never said that workout, and now I think it's definitely starting to change my mind because I see how it's affecting so many people, not just myself. Yeah. And I think that's awesome because it's such a cool workout and it's named after someone who does need to be remembered forever. And, that I get to be a part of that is pretty special.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Josh, thanks so much for taking the time to relive that with us. That was a lot of fun. Really appreciate getting your insight and always good seeing you.
Yeah, great seeing you guys too. Appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a blast getting to talk to you guys. So thank you.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.